From Provo, Utah, this is the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast with your hosts, Joseph DeGolier and Caleb Schweiss. This is Ultima Final Fantasy.
Welcome to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate fuckface interruption Final Fantasy podcast. I am your respectful host, Caleb.
Are you so respectful if you go fuckface in the middle of your sentence?
Yeah, I'm merely identifying the creature before me.
Okay. The computer that made the cutoff of the music during the thing, or are you talking about me?
You cutting me off every time I do the intro.
I don't cut you off.
Yeah.
I'm not cutting you off. I'm supporting.
Fucking quit!
I'm supporting you. When you say Ultima Final Fantasy, say Ultima Final Fantasy.
I won't do it.
Do it.
I already said it once. I'm not doing it again.
Do it. Say it.
It's
the
too late.
best Final Fantasy show on the planet.
It is.
Yeah, that's actually probably true. Welcome, guys. I am Joe, and today we are going to be doing part 2 of our Final Fantasy X-2 review.
That is correct. Last time we covered the story and gameplay elements of Final Fantasy X-2, and today we're going to be moving into design, music, and, if you can call it that, legacy of Final Fantasy X-2, as well as some second opinions, answer some listener questions, read some listener reviews of the game. It's going to be a lot of fun.
But first, plugs. UltimaFinalFantasy.com is our website where you can join our forums, ask us questions and everything. That's where you go. You don't go to ultimafinalfantasy.boards.net. You just go to ultimafinalfantasy.com.
Yeah, some still do. But,
some go to ultimafinalfantasy.boards.net. I feel like they're the people who refuse to start a podcast with the newer episodes.
Probably. They're like, hey, what happened, guys? I see new episodes, but there's no forum activity. Well, that's why. And you'll find that out in due time. I don't know how far it'll.
Yeah, exactly. YouTube.com/Ultima Final Fantasy is where you can see our old videos. My favorite video is still you running away from the super group of creatures in Final Fantasy 11 just crawling after you.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
It is. You can tweet me at Joseph Gillier.
Me at UFF Podcast.
You can go to Facebook.com/Ultima Final Fantasy where we do have a lot of activity there, actually. And of course, you can support the show at Patreon.com and search Ultima Final Fantasy. $1 a month gives you the episodes as soon as we're done mixing them.
And if you happen to be more generous, there are even better rewards.
There are some better rewards. You can even join us on the show, as some of our listeners have done.
Definitely. Those are probably the best episodes we do. At least my favorite.
Schweiss, since we're recording this at the same time as part 1, we haven't moved on at all in Final Fantasy X-2 Last Mission.
Nope, I have done still nothing.
I'm still on floor 15. I might be further by the time you're getting this episode, but I might not actually be, but I should be, right?
I would hope so. I would hope I am also further, because
exactly. Yeah. And this is a review episode, guys, so no news, no iTunes reviews or anything like that, although we do still want the news, still want the iTunes reviews. Next week, I think we're going to be doing a big news show because there's been tons of Final Fantasy news, and we have not been able to cover any of it because of the type of shows we're
trapped in between reviews, which is not a bad thing. It's just, it's a thing, so,
Yeah. All right. Schweiss, let's talk about the design, the visual look of Final Fantasy X-2.
Could totally drink some of that water, because every time we make movements, it's like, whoa, I'm coming. Get here for...
You're a little early. Okay,
what did Cameron say?
Tell Cameron we're still recording.
Well, he doesn't know what soon means.
Yeah, 1 is better because 1 is...
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it. You want to start?
Sure. All right, so the design of Final Fantasy X-2 basically picks up exactly where Final Fantasy X leaves off.
Yeah, I believe it was built upon the same engine as Final Fantasy X. In fact, the same exact shit as Final Fantasy X. They added some elements like the dress spheres, so new costume designs for some of the character models. But most of the stuff has stayed the same. There's some new areas. The final boss area is the one area I can think of right now is that's something new and unique.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of reused character models, like you were saying. The
Nuji Wooji.
Yeah, Nuge is a new one. There's a few new characters. Shinra is definitely new. Him and his like weird like 1930s water suit thing, like diving suit outfit. It's fucking weird, but we got that
That's a good
guy.
way of describing it.
We've got the
that
Celsius.
suit must be hot.
Yeah, that guy is like
Celsius is filled with windows.
That guy is
he must be roasting in that suit.
He has to drain out of like the feet area, just like
like a trumpet.
yeah, like a trumpet, just draining out the liquid.
Oh my god!
So I don't know. It just feels about the same. I mean, a lot of the areas are the same. There's maybe some different camera angles for certain ones, but like Kilika's rebuilt, I guess, because it has to be, because it was destroyed. We've got all the summons. Summons look the same. The clothes, I guess, yeah, they're different.
The clothes are new.
I wish Lulu was. I mean, if we're gonna have people running around with barely anything on, we might as well have Lulu have barely anything on too. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, they had to. They just had to replace the Lulu, the dark, brooding. I don't know, My Chemical Romance fan character, and they had to replace it with a new, slimmer version, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, she is pregnant, so. What can you
Sorry,
do?
Pain or Lulu?
Lulu.
Okay.
She can't exactly go out and fight the hordes, you know. With
The
a baby
Holds of
with her.
Darkness.
Though she did get a doll to do it for her last time, so. Yeah, I guess she probably could have been. She could have roughed it out. She was just being fucking weak.
Yeah, there's a few CGI cutscenes, notably one very gorgeous one, of course, when Yuna is singing the song, which of course I think is a stupid situation. But when it's going back and forth with Shu Yin and Len, and it's visually it's very gorgeous in that respect. I think mostly they've kept the artwork and the character styles of Tetsuya Nomura. And I'm not sure who did the art on this game. I honestly don't know, but I know he's a big part of it, if anything. Now, graphics-wise, this was 2003. And so the PS2 wasn't brand new anymore. And so although Final Fantasy X looked amazing for the era of PS2 that it was in, this game, because it kept the same graphical quality, I do remember reading a review on one of the publications of this game. I do remember reading a review where they were disappointed that the graphics were exactly the same as 10's in terms of quality. And that's true. Every single thing, there was no improvements that I saw in lighting or polygon use or anything like that to make this game look smoother. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's basically the same game as far as the visuals are concerned.
Yeah.
Different people, different outfits.
And of course, we praised Final Fantasy X's look, but
Yeah.
that was 2000 or 2001, right? This wasn't 2003. And I mean, Final Fantasy 12 was 2006. 12 looks fucking amazing for the PS2. This game had no improvements, so it's kind of like FF11. It's just not an improvement.
Yeah, it's just there.
It's just there, and it's 2003. So I guess 2003 was the year of Square Enix not really trying on the graphical front, but they were trying other things. So maybe they just didn't want to deal with another system.
Well, it's either that, or maybe they just wanted to have it more of a continuity thing. Like 10 looked like this, so let's just make 10-2 feel the same way. I mean, I think that makes more sense than anything. Though it being a sequel, it does kind of lend itself to a, well, straight to DVD kind of thing. Like for certain movies, it's like, oh, let's pump a sequel out, get a couple $100K, whatever. It's not going to get you millions and millions, but it'll make do. So
like
maybe
Jarhead 2.
yeah, maybe they're just trying to skirt by with a sequel, thinking that, well, there's enough content here. We'll just make it on the same engine. We'll throw it out, and there it is.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're getting the sequel with the steam of FF10 still going. They're getting the sequel out there quickly.
So I would agree with that. I don't think it looks great. I don't think it looks bad either. I think it looks fine. It's just it's not as impressive as FF10 was for the time. So it's a bit of a step down, but I don't really put too much into the graphical quality again. 7's one of my favorites, and it looks like shit. So.
That's true, but it was kind of one of the first 3D games, so
yeah, but 8 looks way better, and that's only a year later.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But still, Schweiss.
Yes, but still, I agree.
But still,
can't argue with that. Can't argue with the but still. It's untouchable. Really.
I would like to say that the final area, as I said, is awesome looking, I think.
So you like the direction they took when there was a new area?
Yeah. I did like that. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I haven't seen this part of Sphera before. I mean, you do have a game that takes place in exactly the same places that Final Fantasy X took place in, with, some little exceptions, like some new temples with some boats, things that you ride up elevators with. Anyway, there's just not much change visually.
Yeah.
So
I think the biggest change
I'm just a kid.
is definitely Shinra in his existence, because I know this is a game that has some weird outfits, some weird just people wearing stuff that you're like, I don't know why you'd wear it, but this guy is probably the most zany and the simplest at the same time. It's weird. Why is he in a diving suit? Like, is he from another planet and like the air just will consume his flesh?
Maybe he's like the Bubble Boy.
Maybe he is the Bubble Boy. I don't know what he is, but
and all he can do is just sit in his bubble and think about things, and so he comes up with retarded systems like the garment grid, the dress spheres.
And then whenever he fucks up, he just says that he's a kid.
I'm just a kid, and then he goes back to what he's doing.
Yeah, I hate his.
God.
I hate that fucker.
Yeah. So nothing too special about the graphics of this game or the design, I would say. I mean, 10 was special, but 10 was 10.
Yeah.
And now this is just taking what 10 did and doing the same thing. And I actually think we're going to have kind of similar things with 13.2 and 13.3. I think they're based on at least 13.2 is based on the same engine of 13, so it's not really an improvement. Of course, 13... is an amazing looking game. I know, and it would still be an amazing looking game in late PS3 era as well.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it would have quite the same comparison. The PS2 could actually do more than what they thought it could at the time.
Yeah, based on how you render stuff and how you throw it in, like 12, like we've said many times, less polygons, but it looks worlds better than 10.
Yeah, it's based on, I think they said they wanted more complex lighting instead. And so that gives them what I think is a better look.
Yeah, it looks way better.
Yeah.
In 10.2, yeah, same look. So.
All right, you want to talk about the music?
Let's go into it.
Pull up the name of the composers again. They were the composers for the... Oh, we don't need the names. We already...
Sure, I can grab it.
Yeah, I'm never going to...
Take like 2 seconds. 2 secs.
Transgender kid. Yep, got it. So, once again, the music is composed by these two guys, Noriku Matsueda and Takahito Eguchi, which, of course, they scored the game that I know you hate and many other people hate, but I've never played, The Bouncer, which is an old Square or Square Enix game.
Fighter, yeah.
Not sure.
It's
a fighter?
Yeah, it sucks, dude.
So is it worse than Air Gaze?
Oh yeah, it's worse than Air Gaze.
Okay,
Air
alright.
Gaze is at least nostalgia cool. This thing is not any of that.
The music. Now we can talk about the pop songs, and I think we already know our opinions on the pop song. That opening pop song is awful.
In case you forgot. Yeah. All right. So yeah, the pop stuff. Our opinion is, as it always
It's bad.
has been and will be for most of the pop songs that the series offers.
It's bad.
What about the rest of the stuff? What about the atmospheric music on Besaid, on Kilika?
It sounds like sort of FF10 stuff sometimes. Like you can hear some remnants of Nobuo's tracks from FF10, and I know Nobuo worked with a couple other composers on FF10, so it might be their tracks. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But you can kind of hear that in some areas of the game. But for the most part, with few exceptions, either there's pieces that are going off of the pop songs, so they're using the sort of melodies from the pop songs to make new area themes, or themes during certain moments of cutscenes and shit like that, or they're techno beats, weird watery techno beats throughout
Yeah.
the rest of the game.
That's pretty much what 10 was, though, for some of the stuff. Some of the stuff on, like, Besaid was kind of that, like, watery. Okay, not to that extent, but it's kind of like, I don't know, water electronica. And in this game, it definitely... It does sound... I agree, it is reminiscent of 10, but it is its own beast musically, and...
I don't think it compares well to 10's score, because 10's score all over the place. It's memorable, at least. With 10-2, I'm honestly having trouble thinking of specifics besides maybe the battle theme of how, and the pop songs. I'm honestly having a hard time remembering the music, and I didn't have other shit going on when I was playing this game. I did not. It's been one of the few times where I've not been listening to a podcast as I've been playing a game. So I should have heard the music the whole time. And usually you can hum a theme, and sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing depending on the theme. I guess the Balam Garden thing, the bum 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 bum, that's something you don't want to hear, but you hear it anyway in some of Nobuo's work. This game, I guess it's more atmospheric, but it's techno-y atmospheric, and thus, to me, not interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of the music was okay. The airship theme, the that one was okay.
I'm not a fan of it. Now that you just reminded me of that thing.
And then there's the chase part where you're chasing after LeBlanc, and there's some flying guitar solos going on in some of the tracks in this game, and they're kind of cool, but
I'm not sure if they're real guitars. I think they're synthesized.
Oh, I'm positive they're synthesized. There's no
Yeah.
doubt in my mind that it's not an actual guitar.
Well,
but
the thing is, as a guitar player, I smell the synthesis. I'm like, smells like bullshit.
yeah, I could see that.
And I would say the same thing about the battle systems guitars. I think they're fake. I mean, if they're not, they've been put through so much electronica that they sound fake. But I'm not. I think the battle theme is boring as a battle theme. It's not exciting. It's not like I want to get into the battle. It's kind of this weird piece that plays every time you play a battle. I don't know how to explain it outside of that. There's
going back to good battle themes, I think FF11 is one that I really miss, because when I was doing that 14 quest that had the FF11, what was her name?
Lion?
No, it was another girl. I can't remember. I always make fun of her name because it looks really odd, but she calls you Master.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When we went back to that, the FF11 battle theme is actually really awesome and quite enthusiastic, and it gets you pumped. But this one, I don't know, I'd have to agree with you. It's just kind of there. I I didn't find it to be the upbeat epicness of FF10s, to where like the battle is going to be sweet with every time the theme kicks in. Admittedly, that gets old after 5,000 or 6,000 times, but
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, but it feels like you're on an adventure, like you're doing something. There's action taking place.
yeah.
But whatever FF10-2's theme, that like the weird whining guitars and kind of a beat, not interesting. It's weirdly atmospheric, but it doesn't do anything as far as like propelling your emotions to be excited towards the gameplay that you're about to experience. I don't really care for the music in this game. It's super forgettable, and at its worst, it's a terrible pop song. So that's how I feel about the music.
Yeah, it's not the low point, but it's close, I'd say. I think the story is still the worst part about this game, but the pop
Do you
stuff,
think Nobuo didn't do this game because he was above it or because he was working on FF11?
both. I don't know if they would have approached.
10-2.
I don't know if they would have approached him with it, because they do have their side set of people.
Yeah, that's true.
They always have, where it's like, well, this is a game, but let's not have the geniuses work on it. Let's have these other guys that are here and are good work on it instead.
Okay. All
I
right.
think it'd be both. I would love to ask him though. Like, what are your thoughts on this? Did you say no? Like, did you laugh at them until they left, or what took place here? Like, no.
10-2? No, I'm not gonna compose that.
What is that?
What are you, nuts?
Yeah.
He like looks at the new artwork. Get that out of here.
Is that a mic that she's holding there? No. Absolutely not.
Oh man. All right. Yeah, I just composed Distant Worlds. I'm not going back to that nasty J-pop.
Yeah, I've moved on.
I've moved on.
I'm done with
God.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although it's his best song ever, or at least most critically acclaimed song, is that "Eyes on Me." So as far as singles,
Is it
go.
critically acclaimed or is it audience acclaimed?
Well, audience, I guess. but-
I don't know. What critics would have
yeah. Well, who would have even like?
whenever sang my songs? That doesn't even make sense.
Proved.
Yeah, proved. Best lyric writing ever. How about that?
Yeah. So I mean, I would put I'd put the music as I don't know. It might be the least interesting out of the prequels and sequels so far.
Yeah, I liked the music for Crisis Core quite a bit. I thought the Dirge of Cerberus
It was like a step down
not
from
as good as
Crysis.
Crisis Core. But so far, yeah, it's not interesting. And of course, the music for Interlude was mostly music from FF4,
And After Years, yeah.
and it's good.
Yeah, it's really good.
So-
and even the original stuff for After Years was really good. So, yeah, I'd have to say this is the bottom
Yeah.
of the barrel. For
Of course, we are like metalheads, so naturally, if you have a soundtrack that has a lot of metal playing on it, you're probably going to get bonus points from me or Caleb.
true. But if it's big and epic, it gets stuff too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And this doesn't really have that, except for the final theme that's going on while you're fighting Vegnagun. I thought that song was really cool.
It
It's
can
got,
even
like,
be
that-
beautiful and somber, but I just don't live for the electronica. I just don't. Not for that like late '90s techno. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, if we're gonna go
I'm blue.
electronica,
I'm not into it. I'm sorry.
if we're gonna go for it,
and
we're
this
gonna
kind
go
of
for,
comes
like,
out of that.
New Order, something older, like 80s maybe,
Maybe some '80s.
but not the. I feel you.
Yeah.
And this one is like stinks of that. So
All right, Schweiss. Well, I believe we have plenty of questions to answer about this game. You guys, I don't know why you guys came early. I really don't. Yeah, we didn't have a game review. Had to wait.
all right, you ready?
So we ask you, forum users, to please give us questions for Final Fantasy X-2. Shinru has a good list of questions here, so we'll start with his stuff. What do you think of the final dungeon, Schweiss?
I thought it was probably the coolest area in the game. I did enjoy it. The stages of the fight were really cool. It was interesting to see it in that sort of a setup, because there's many older Final Fantasy games where you fight like, oh, this part of the boss, oh, this part of the boss, and then it was cool to see it in a more 3D, more realistic environment, and it worked. I think it worked really well.
The boss fight for me, I thought, was okay. It wasn't really strategically challenging at all. Sometimes I like that, but for this game, I was like, why do I have all these jobs classes and I'm only using what I've been using the whole time, attacker, healer? And nothing is really changing with this boss. So, I mean, I thought the boss design-wise was kind of an okay boss. I didn't think it was as cool design as Jet at the end of 10. That's for damn sure. Yeah. But really, the area, the dungeon area, I thought was one of the coolest things. Like going down when you have to fight Shiva and all that shit down below the far plane, kind of that red rock area, and you do all the moving around, and then you have the music puzzle, of course. Now the music puzzle itself is infuriatingly bad, and I had to use a guide. That was like, this isn't gonna happen, and I used the guide to exactness so that I could get through that shit. But visually, very cool area. At least I think so.
Wait, so you didn't like to fight the guy from the Stargate?
I fought him once and died very badly. And I was like,
yeah. Fuck that guy and his Stargate powers.
Neither of us got the true ending, which
we
is one
did
of the
watch
questions.
it though, so we did discuss it. How many of the trophies did we get for the game? I think I ended at like, maybe 30%, something like that. There's still quite a few that I need to get. Last mission does include.
I have no idea how many trophies I got.
5 of them. So
yeah. Let's see. You enjoy how during the battles it was active, so enemies could attack you, so you had to think fast. I didn't have to think that fast in this game.
Yeah, what I did think was cool, that if you missed, your character would try to swing again, kind of a thing. And it was fun to chain attacks together and kind of stop them from hitting you, because they'll like try to do their attack animation. You'll hit them and they'll stagger backwards, and then you can hit them with another person and they won't be able to get to you. I thought that was really cool, and 10 didn't offer that. 10, it was like, all right, it's my turn, I'm going to hit you. Now it's your turn, you can hit me. This one, you could actually interrupt enemies' attacks, and I did find that refreshing. I thought it was cool.
What did you think of Brother, a.k.a. what Shinru says the best character in X-2?
He would be great to party with, is what Shinru says. If that guy was at a... yeah. I don't think that guy would live through a party that I was attending. I would hold that guy under the water until the bubbles stopped. No, he's pretty funny, but I think it's
like a murder party. I'm totally confused by
it
the
would
description
be
here.
No, if I had to suffer an evening with that fuck. He is really funny, but
Brother's one of the reasons that I shut my door while I was playing this game, and no one was allowed in. Better knock, because you gotta give me a second to pause the game on an unembarrassing screenshot. you gotta let me do that before coming in.
Yeah. I, on the other hand, don't give a shit what anybody thinks, but I still felt a little weird.
He hoped we cranked up the volume to the max about the LeBlanc massage minigame. I turned it down. I just couldn't let anybody witness the fucking terrible.
You don't want your parents thinking you're in there watching porn.
No, I didn't want that. That's an odd thing to not want. I know. I know that the whole thing is blast the porn, and then my father can go next to the door, go and then walk along.
Sounds
That's
like
my
he's-
big boy.
Sounds like he's into the good shit. Move on.
Oh, what did I think of LeBlanc? I don't know why she's always like bouncing on her hip. It's a really weird like tick that she has going on.
Yeah, like how can you take someone seriously that can't sit still? Like, what are you fucking doing over there?
And of course, her outfit is another reason the door was shut. And yeah, Nuge is. He asked us about what we thought of Nuge as well, and I'm looking at a picture here, and I forgot when you said his hair. I was just thinking of the other hair part.
Oh yeah,
I
no.
didn't remember that there was one single giant antler.
Yeah.
Now I still stand by the fact that I think Seymour has more ridiculous and worse hair, not only because it's blue, but also because he has two antlers.
Yeah, that's true. He does have two. I did like watching Nuge gimp around though. Like when there was that cut scene where you're at the very end of the game and he's like going up to the top part, I'm like, how the fuck is he gonna get up there? I have to jump, and this guy can barely fucking walk. So,
So would we have felt embarrassed as a kid or as a preteen when it came out in the early 2000s and your parents or other family members walked in? I would feel very embarrassed. And I would also probably have the dress thing on slow so that I could try to get a glimpse of them naked.
yeah,
That's what I'm thinking as a kid right about then.
just the flesh bod.
I would have gotten like, huh? It's almost naked.
Open the disc tray.
That's enough.
Whip it
dude.
out.
That's enough.
Yeah.
At least for a young boy. Any parts of the game that made you laugh out loud? Every time I hear him say "party," party, makes me laugh out loud.
There are some pretty funny parts. Most of it is awkward, but there's some good stuff, I guess. Make us annoyed. Was there anything that annoyed you other than the pop and the?
Everything in the story annoyed me, especially the 1,000 words song setup, where it was bullshit.
All right. Did we do any of the optional stuff and boss fights? We kind of went over that. Did we have a hard time on any of the puzzles? What did you think about the puzzle to get the ribbon? I couldn't do it, and I gave up.
I used a guide to get the ribbon thing. Otherwise, it's sort of like Tomb of the Unknown King, where it all has to do with camera angles and manipulating camera angles that look exactly the same when they're flipped around, and you figuring out exactly where you're going. It is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know how long it would have taken a player to do that without instructions.
Yeah, I almost got it. I was like one away, but then I fucked it all up. Yeah. But I needed to level up anyway, so.
Did you like the character progression of Yuna as a person from FF10? No.
I didn't mind some of it. I did. She was kind of. She wasn't really a strong character for most of 10. I don't think.
I think she was strong in her own way. It doesn't have to be a strong, boisterous character. I think she was a strong character. She's willing to die for what she believes. I think that's
but it's like
strong.
But it's like a
thing.
zealotness to it though. Like this is it. This is my calling. It wasn't like a thing that.
The fuck is this question?
Did you
from?
cry or get emotional at any part of the game?
No.
Yeah, not even close. There was no heartstring tugging at all here. Like it was kind of sad seeing the people die back 1,000 years ago. That was the only part of the game that was sad, but not. I wasn't connected to the characters.
No,
really.
you're not connected to him at all. Oh, these two people from 1,000 years ago. You get one scene spliced with a ridiculous pop concert. No, that's not going to work.
No. Favorite dress sphere? I think my two favorites are going to be the Dark Knight and the Samurai. I liked those ones quite a bit.
Samurai was all right. I think your Warrior was more useful than the Samurai was, at least on a low level. I'm sure if you leveled up all the Samurai stuff, it might have been better.
I thought it was better.
But, when I got Samurai, I was kind of disappointed that the damage wasn't like eons better than the Warrior, and I was like, screw this. Did you like the mini games?
I thought they were way better than 10s, but that doesn't really say a whole lot.
No.
Sphere Break is a good game. The rest of the mini games, I was lukewarm towards. It was whatever. Did we like the humor in the game?
The game itself is a joke.
Yeah, it was funny at times, but it was like mockingly funny.
It was shut my door and hope that no one notices kind of funny.
Yeah.
Right?
Did we venture into Via Infinito? Not much. I went in a couple of floors. That's the Purifigo thing I was thinking of. I fucked it up earlier.
Via shit. Can you tell me what it's like? Because I'm trying to remember.
It's the area under Bavel. That's what that's called.
Is that where you have to rotate all the discs?
No, you don't have to go there, so you didn't go there.
Oh, okay.
It's in
All
10
right.
where you fight Everett the second time.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get there.
Did you beat FF10-2 last mission and listen to the audio?
No, those are future
novel?
future episodes.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
We got a lot of questions about did you do last missions? Like, it's not the same game. I'm not gonna.
Are you aware of the nudity glitch that happened when playing the PS2 version on backwards compatible PS3s? There's a YouTube.
No, but
I think I saw some though.
I did look it up as soon as I saw this question post on the forum. Mostly you find porn on Google Images, and I didn't decide to look at the video. But that's crazy. What's the point of having naked character models underneath the? Like, why? Why do they program that?
I don't know. Maybe they want it to be awesome in case it messes up.
Yeah.
So we got one here called from The Hound. Beautiful there, beautiful. What's up, buddies? It's time to play everyone's favorite game, starring 3 ladies from Final Fantasy X-2, Mary, Kill, and F. I'm pretty sure I know what you guys are going to pick, but I thought it would be interesting to ask.
Wow, marry, fuck, kill for
The 3.
Riku. Or kill Riku.
Kill Riku,
That's odd.
marry Yuna because she'd be loyal, and fuck Pain.
And fuck Pain?
Yeah. Dude, I can go BDSM one time. Just one time, and if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it with a pro, and I can tell that would be her.
That's very interesting.
Bring out the whips, baby.
Very interesting. You know what?
That's an awesome fucking question.
I would marry the Yuna from 10.
Oh, you want a submissive?
I don't think I would marry the Yuna from 10 too. No, just annoying.
Come on, guys.
She's got, like, the Riku has, like, hanging out with Riku too much has affected her to just be a little,
It puts you a little off. Like, I'm like, I kind of want to, I just kind of want to not be around you. Ever.
Exactly. No, I'm going to go ahead and marry Pain. She seems like a very strong person. She seems...
Oh, so...
And I like I would fuck Yuna. I mean, that's not... I would obviously do that. I'm going to go ahead and say... I mean, this is a hard one, definitely. I'm going to go ahead and marry Pain.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
I stand by it. Would you rather this game not exist? Does this take away from Final Fantasy X, asks Corey. I think it does. I don't think it adds to it.
I think the end of Final Fantasy X was really good as a sort of cliffhanger, and I thought it was really good as a sad ending, sort of the Sixth Sense-like twist that happens when you're almost done with the game.
Yeah.
With Auron disappearing and everything like that. I thought 10 ended perfectly.
Yeah.
As a game, as a story, I thought it ended at exactly the right spot. And this is one of those things where, like, would you want a sequel to No Country for Old Men? The answer is no!
I mean, it was cool having Auron voiceover in the final area, but it was weird. Like, it does make it... I don't know. I think I'd be okay with it not existing, and if it did, make it a much darker game that's showing the aftermath of this level of destruction that these people have experienced.
All right, this one's from Gammon Stark. Do you want a 10-3?
No. I don't want a fucking 10-3. Work on another Final Fantasy game. There's no reason to come out with another sequel to a sequel. Lightning Returns is one thing, but 10-3?
I'm thinking if only to make up for 10-2.
Do you really want to try to make up for it? Because making up for it acknowledges it and reminds
Because
you, oh yeah,
10-2 was an experiment. 10-3 needs to be a return to form.
Well, what would 10-3 be then?
I don't know, like darker somehow. I guess you did get rid of the 2 world-destroying forces. But yeah, let's have a political, like a real war, a civil war happening within Sphera, and you could make a game out of that.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
I think that would have been better as the 10-2. If they do a 10-3, how about this? How about you make 10-3 as if 10-2 didn't happen, at least story-wise, and made 10-3 the new 10-2? I'd be cool with that.
Do you think this only came out because of the sequel mania that seemed to be happening with 7 during the aughts? No, this predates the 7 sequels. So no, I would think the 7 sequels would actually probably be the things reacting to the 10-2. As this was the first Final Fantasy direct sequel to a main series game. I'm not sure about the spin-offs.
Yeah.
Now, the early aughts, they do seem to be the beginning of sequel after sequel after sequel, because the 90s didn't have a whole bunch of sequels. I would say with either games or with movies, but there's a fuckload of sequels to movies starting in about 2002. They started like, let's make a sequel to everything, and then we're still in the middle of that. In fact, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. Now we got like 20 million Marvel movies and all this other shit.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of it. I just want single big movies coming out.
So you'd rather them not worry about 10-3 and just do a new Final Fantasy?
I said the only reason to do a 10-3, really, if they decided that the reason they're doing 10-3 is to make up for 10-2. Sure.
What if all those superhero movie guys are saying the same bullshit, though? They got some fucker that's like, well, I know X-Men, not good, but when we come out with the new X-Men, it will make up for the last really piece of shit X-Men movie. So,
well, they have done that. There's been better X-Men's after the bad X-Men.
It's true, but
so, I mean that was a good point. But.
That's where they come from. What did later releases take from this game? Well, none of the later releases really did much the same way, I don't think.
I don't think they took the girly atmosphere. There haven't been that many job
Lightning
system
Returns,
games.
maybe. I don't know, though. We haven't touched it yet. It's
Final Fantasy 13-2 and Lightning's ridiculous outfit kind of has a little bit of a 10-2 sort of thing going on.
Yeah.
But I don't think the rest of the game does, as far as I've only played like a couple hours of 13-2, so I don't know. I don't think much has been taken from 10-2, except for the fact that 10-2 was a sequel, and now it's like, oh, we can actually make a sequel to a main series game.
And it will do okay.
Yeah.
So I guess that is the biggest thing they take from it. All right. The One Nation asks, do you think this game would have had a better reception if the story had a more serious tone? I actually think this game would have been hated on more if it wasn't campy and goofy.
That's a good point.
I think the way they made the game, that's probably true. If they would have had a more serious tone and then had the rest of it the same, it would have not been received well.
This game is still positively reviewed.
Yeah, it's in the 80s it's like an 87,
Metacritic.
something like that.
Yeah.
So people still love it.
People like it. I don't think it's like
I think a
10 or
90
1.
is a love.
I think most people put this as like, if they're going to like it, it's going to be like an 80. I honestly don't know why it got such high praise. I don't see it anywhere within the game. I mean, one of the reasons, as you said, it's probably its goofiness that they're like, oh, it's different, so we'll give it bonus points.
Yeah.
If you said it was more somber in tone, would that affect the battle system, though? I think it would. So the game would just be completely different.
Yeah, so it's hard to say.
I don't know if that's a question I can really answer.
Yeah, so Cloud here asks, is the game good as a standalone game?
No, it would make no sense as a standalone game.
No.
That makes sense now.
I don't think it's bad because it follows 10. I think it's bad because the story sucks ass. I think if the story wasn't a piece of shit, it would be an okay standalone game.
Yeah.
But it's a piece of shit, so whether it's after 10, which does hurt, or not, a bad story is a fucking bad story.
Yes.
no matter what it follows, 7 or 8 following 7, that doesn't fucking matter. It's the game's story that really makes it. Does this expand the universe of the original FF10 game meaningfully? Not really. It's more of a kind of the way that the 7 stuff expands that universe. It's like, well, this wasn't said to not be in 10, so it can be.
My one exception is Titus coming back at the end of 10-2.
That does expand it meaningfully in a pretty big way.
That's the one exception, I think. Do we learn more about the world itself? That there's super non-violent people throughout the entire world of Spira?
Yeah, they're very non-violent, and they just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah. Which, after the whole Yevon thing, I wouldn't assume that they were non-violent. I mean,
yeah, that was pretty fucked up. They were killing people. It was like mafia in there.
Do we learn more about the world itself? Do we learn more about who the characters are?
Not
we learn
really.
more about Pain with the weird twist that she is somewhat connected to Nuge and the others. But I didn't think that was like a big earth-shattering reveal.
No, it's not. I think it's more earth-shattering. Oh, excuse me. I think it's more earth-shattering that Yuna was Al-Bhed in 10, and you can totally tell.
Is the game faithful to the universe of its parent game?
Yeah, I'd say so for the most part. All the areas are similar.
I'm not entirely sure what this question is.
Well, I think it has to do with like continuity and stuff. Does the game work? And I think it does. I don't like it, but I don't think it severs anything that we know from 10.
Yeah, the world is the same. In fact, it's held up quite well considering their government and presiding world religion just recently collapsed.
Yeah. So yes and no, I would say to that, because it's not faithful to the tone, but I would say that the rest of it is pretty faithful.
Are we better off with or without the expansion? I assume he means last mission. We don't know yet.
Yeah, a lore question. He thinks Spoonie asked a very fair question at the end of his review. If Shuyin is not Tidus, despite being pretty much identical as a practical statement, why does Jecht get involved in the final battle? Jecht has no relationship with Yuna, but is invested in Shuyin? Seems random if there is no relationship between Tidus and Shuyin. Jecht even uses the same language in describing Shuyin, crybaby, as he would Tidus. So, what's the deal?
Remember this, Caleb.
Well, Jecht does speak to you in the final area. He does talk. Remember, there's that voiceover where he's like, "Use your friends," and he like talks, says shit.
That's him?
Yeah, there's Jecht, and then it's all 3 of them. I think I heard Braska and Orin. Okay,
What?
so here's the thing: Shuyin is Tidus. That's the thing. He's the same person. It's just the memory of Tidus that has been manifested in a physical form. That's what it is. So they do have the connection. Jecht would be Shuyin's father as well.
Jet is connected to Yuna in the way that her father was the guardian, or excuse me, Jet was the guardian of her father.
Right, but Jecht would
So
have
in a
also
way,
had to have been a dream of the faith.
They're more connected with Yuna than they are with this Shuyin guy.
Well, not necessarily, because if Tidus is Shuyin, just a reimagining of Shuyin, a dream of the faith, then Jecht is Shuyin's father. And Jecht is also a dream of the faith brought back.
But so which Jet was talking? Was it the
Maybe
the dream
Jecht is
Jet?
such an
Or
asshole
the real
that they couldn't forget him. It's like, no, that's that guy. That's that fucking guy.
Wow.
Kind of thing. I think that maybe Shuyin was just kind of a fucking putz, just like Tidus. So they got the putz part, but I don't know. I think they are the same person. Pretty positive about that.
All right, so Cameron Stark, since this was the girls just want to have fun of Final Fantasies, and 15 is the bros before ladies of Final Fantasy games, how badly do you want 15 to mirror 10-2? To mirror,
besides
or to be the polar opposite?
Besides an awesome pop opener, since that is a given, he says.
Okay.
I want it to be like a black metal opener, just like something super heavy.
Is that the essence of manliness, though?
No, I would say Danzig is probably the big motherfucker, right?
Okay.
Singing some like wailing lyrics with some good guitar.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
I don't know if I want it to mirror it necessarily. I'm sure it will be similar in tone, just what they think guys want. I don't know.
I think this is a ridiculous way of looking at things. First off, we need Final Fantasy X-2 wasn't making up for not having female characters in Final Fantasy games. We've had female characters throughout all the Final Fantasy games, and usually in the later Final Fantasy games, female characters and male characters in the main group, the playable group, seem to be somewhat even as far as numbers are concerned.
Yeah, and importance almost.
And I still think the main character of FF6 is Terra.
She is easily,
and there's a lot of stuff having to do with Celis and everything like that.
I would say Terra, Celis, and then like Locke.
There's a good section of FF7 where you're Tifa, and there's a whole bunch of stuff surrounding Tifa and Aerith, and not just Cloud.
Right.
And FF8 of course has 3 women characters, 3 male characters, all in the thing. I don't believe in this stupid fucking PC notion that we have to make up for things. Like, just keep going. And if the story in FF15 makes more sense to have a group of guys be the thing, I don't think there's anyone going, no, we can't have women in this group. I don't think there's anybody doing that. And in FF10-2, it's just kind of like it was their challenge to do only women. I guess for I'm assuming most of the staff for FF15 are probably men, so it's not necessarily the challenge of doing an all-male cast for 15.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that 16 should make up for it by doing an all-women's cast as well. I think that the right cast for the right game is the way that it should go. Now, 10-2 was an experiment. I don't think... And 15's an experiment in its own way, but I don't think that's an on-purpose sort of a thing.
Yeah, probably not. I don't think they really care too much. Plus, I mean, they do have great female characters throughout the series, so I don't know. I don't care. And honestly, it should probably mirror an actual representation of it, but this is a fantasy world. Like, what?
Yeah, but the whole thing that I've noticed so far with 15 is that it's about Noctis, his advisor, and his friends. And if you're a guy, those are likely going to be guys.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So why shove things in just to shove things in? I think if it's natural for the story and it works that way, that's cool.
Yeah.
I would like to say on top of this, I have an issue with I know it comes from a good place, and there should be more diversity in things like in movies and stuff like that. But if it needs to fit the movie, if you got a movie that took place here, Schweiss, in Utah, 80% white here, you don't do 50%. I don't know.
Minority groups.
50% white group. Yeah. And you don't. It doesn't make sense there, but like for sci-fi and crap, it doesn't matter. But even still, forcing people for the sake of making up for issues with the past, I will not be punished for my father's sins or my grandfather. I hate that viewpoint. I hate it so much. Ready for a Twitter rant on this shit.
Yeah.
And the fucking safe spaces and all that other goddamn bullshit.
All right. Well, that's the end of the questions. Now we've got a couple reviews that some of the listeners have thrown out. This is Shinru's review. He says, I consider FF 10, I assume he means 10-2, to be a standalone game regardless of what Square Enix or anyone else says. I know 10-2 is canon, but I consider it a spin-off, or what if style side story that if you want more, there is more, and if you don't, then you don't have to worry about it because it's not important, and he refuses to let it taint FF10. With that being said, he did enjoy the game and felt that Yuna progressing as a character made sense, and I liked some of the story elements. The gameplay and this new improve type job system, I don't know what that means, was a lot of fun, and I just focused on that for the most part. 10.2 has some of the hardest optional bosses out of all the FF games, so even though it might look like a cute, easygoing game, this is one of the most brutal ones out there.
Oh, we didn't get to experience that.
No, I didn't do any of the optional bosses. I didn't really like most of the music, but when 1,000 Words first came on, I was blown away. Other than that, I was like, some of the final dungeon and final boss themes, but that's about it. The game had a weird sense of humor and a lot of comedic moments I wasn't expecting. Brother is insane and always made me laugh. Nuge, well, let's just say I never thought they could outdo Seymour in FF10, and they did, so I was laughing out loud whenever he was on screen. LeBlanc massage minigame is one of the most awkward gaming moments in Final Fantasy, probably. So imagine a young me trying to convince friends that FF games are awesome, and out of all the times they could see me playing one, they chose to pay attention to that minigame.
God.
The whole Vecna Gun and Shuyan storyline wasn't that bad, and I sort of enjoyed it. Didn't really like revisiting some of the same locations. I wish they added more new areas. 100% the game is a choice, and it's really bad if you are an OCD. Oh, it's a chore, sorry. OCD completionist type. I knew of people that have beaten the game multiple times and kept doing New Game Plus just to get 100% completion. Overall, fun game, but not for everyone. You have to be an FF fan and an FF10 fan and someone that won't go in expecting a mainline epic FF story, and you'll enjoy it. Probably.
Skull Haiti says, things I really liked. Game system. It was very rewarding, giving your characters abilities, and was pretty smooth with very few flaws. Things I really disliked. Ready for this?
Yep.
10-2. Lulu not showing people... What?
Lulu not showing, yet people asking, can you even walk? And it's kicking.
Wow. I can see Riku's ribs. That's not okay. I didn't see Riku's ribs, but she is skinny. Serious themes are gone. Strong, intelligent, focused female protagonists, gone. Is this supposed to be a fucking comedy? Hard to know where to go sometimes in the beginning. Kindergartens. Oh, fuck. We forgot to mention the kindergartens.
I didn't want to mention it.
Jesus, there are a group of kids in this game that call themselves the kindergartens.
Also sphere hunters, but they suck ass at it because they don't get any fucking
they're
spheres.
Kindergartens.
Yes, that too.
Jesus. Idiot characters. Did Yuna get hit on the head? Riku calling Waka a dad. Oh, I would like to add a Riku thing. Her T-Rex...
oh, yeah, the little typing thing that she does.
The typing motion T-Rex thing where she, like, pooches her butt out and, like...
Cannot speak!
Yeah, no, it should not be, at the very least. It's kind of weird that they kept a lot of those animations, the things that they do in 10.
And her teeth would be out too while she's talking, so it's just like she's a fucking little dinosaur.
Oh yeah, like when you got into some fight, she'd be like,
oh,
and sit over there like, clever girl.
The incredibly frightening monkey.
I'm gonna haunt your dreams.
Oh man, some of the lip syncing in this game.
They didn't fucking care.
There's one where there's a good zoom up on one of LeBlanc's henchmen, and he's like, the nerve! And he's talking for like 30 seconds. His lips are just flapping. And all he says are, the nerve.
Nerve must be a really fucking long word in Japanese.
Yeah,
that's all I'm
exactly.
gonna say.
It's
Or
like
the.
It's a 20-syllable word.
Yeah.
The nerve. Yeah, exactly. High fives he has a problem with. Oh, poopy!
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. It's not like Riku was like this awesome character in 10 and suddenly got worse. She seemed about the same.
Yeah, well,
She's
that
just
was
fucking awful. High tens as well as high fives. A second singing scene, third singing scene, etc. Seymour killed all the Ronso, I thought, he says. And I don't remember Kimari being able to reproduce asexually.
Well, they weren't all dead. He was lying. Because they're still there in 10 as well later. You can go back.
Logo's eyes. Old geezer is dead for 1,000 years, but has no idea. About 100 other logical failures and 1,000 moments of embarrassing stupidity that makes me feel like my intelligence is being insulted. Maybe Yuna played this game too much, and that's why she is how she is. The writer of this game should be shot in the head repeatedly.
Damn. All right, so
Skull Haiti, did you like it or?
Yeah, it seems like a mixed bag, honestly. Strike Knight 130 says, I enjoyed the game. I feel like it was made just to have fun and be silly. Playing this in my 20s instead of my teens is really weird. The battle system is fast-paced. Super bosses are brutal. One of the few Final Fantasies where you can't just max stats to beat. Playing the international version, I didn't use the grids once.
The girls.
Oh, the girls, sorry. Once when I got the monsters to collect. I'd give the game an 8 out of 10.
That's true. You can do the weird monster thing that I couldn't quite understand when I went through the menu system, so I kind of ignored it. But yeah,
it's strange.
There's something to do with summons and stuff like that, or something like things. Corey says, I just finished Chapter 2. I was trying to have this game beat by the time you guys did your review, but I can't get motivated to finish it. Pretty much sums up how I feel about the game.
All right. The One Nation says, story pretty weak, but it's obvious that this was not the focus. Characters also kind of weak. Yuna, Riku, and Pain are fine, but the non-playable characters are either shallow or unnecessary. Music, not a fan. Setting, an interesting take on a post-Sin Spira. Small changes to familiar areas that tie in the original story pretty well.
Gameplay, the combat is what makes this game for me. The jobs are fun, the combat is fast, the strategizing needed is interesting, and the garment grid switching feels like a precursor to Paradigm Shift. Speaking of shift...
I would say Paradigm Shift is pretty similar. In fact, that's probably where they got this from, honestly. So I think that would be the one thing that they took from this game and brought to 13 is the garment grid, but they were like, let's speed it up by like a shit ton.
The mini games are pretty bad, he says. That's the first person I've heard that said they were pretty bad. And I loathe the Via Infinito. Seriously, when you have a ribbon and can still get petrified, that sucks. Oh my god.
Yeah,
that's pretty bad. Overall, I feel the same way about this game as I did with 13. If it wasn't for the characters in combat, I wouldn't like 10-2 at all, but it's campy fun and enjoyable enough.
All right, so Cloud says 10-2 is a mixed bag of high highs and low lows. The absurdly 16-year-old hyperactive girl stuff is just terrible. The opening is cringeworthy and never improves on repeat playthroughs. Riku talks endlessly despite saying nothing. Pain is just a pure stereotype and uninteresting. The primary story is somewhat forgettable. A big machine will destroy Spira, whatever. What's excellent is the characterization of Yuna and Spira. One feels the tragedy of Yuna's loss throughout the game. She is still grieving the death of Tidus. Every little thing she encounters reminds her of Tidus.
Did he play a different game than I did?
It is an excellent portrayal of sorrow, true to real life. Additionally, Spira itself is remarkably well characterized. The Spira we knew is still here, and although things are better, new problems emerge. Just like real life, the resolution of one great problem in the world gives the freedom for a new problem to spawn and thrive, as well as great progress. The calm has given rise to thievery and political extremism to the point of civil war, where before United Spira stood against sin, and now it's tearing itself apart. But there is growth of commerce, no more prejudice against the Albed. 10-2 is told very well as a story and expands the 10 universe, but the choice in what is told is lacking.
Okay. Stalis says, Yuna transforms from a peaceful summoner to a Daisy Dukes-wearing, gun-wielding sphere hunter that will shoot you in the face. The graphics are extremely lazy. One of many examples. Supposedly Waka is fat and Lulu is pregnant. Based on the models, that is a lie. Brother, who is technically Yuna's cousin, is trying to tame her strange Okay. Tame Her Strange. What the fuck? Sorry, I think you got some typos here, Stella. Sorry. It's trying to tame her strange throughout the story. Tame her. Does he mean bang her? Tame her strange? Yeah. Is that a saying? Caleb Craig is saying that's a saying. I've never heard this saying in my fucking life. He says there's a South Park episode about it.
All right, fine.
Okay.
Well, and the sexualization of teenage girls. This marked the first directed masterpiece by Toriyama. I feel like he's one of those people that needs supervision. He was fine as an event planner. The problem with him as a director, completely ignoring / changing established characters, personalities between a game, adding in nonsensical designs or story elements that don't really fit. Let's host a concert in an area where you could die versus holding it at the Calmlands. And then the way he weirdly fetishizes his female characters, no matter the age or the personality type. Lightning and Lightning Returns. It's gross. The only redeeming quality was the gameplay, minus the Via Infinito. That was just tedious. Edit. Also, fuck the retconning bullshit that stating Spira is directly connected to Seven's planet. No. Just because there are 2 successful games does not mean they needed to be connected like that. I would be more sympathetic if this was included in FF10 and expanded, but it was not. I also understand that all the FF worlds are supposed to be connected, but that's not really true. But the direct connection of 10 and 7 is fan service thrown in last minute bullshit.
I don't think they're all supposed to be connected. I think there's some that are connected though, like 4 and 9, and then with After Years there seems to be some connections between some of the Crystal
that's a very
games.
very loose connection though.
Yeah.
That's saying universe.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is that's nothing basically.
So we pulled 2 wonderful Amazon reviews, and this is our God damn it, Caleb. All right, and this is our second opinion section. Now, surprisingly, there was I think most of you guys were more negative about the game in your reviews than I thought you would be.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be us bashing and then everyone else being like, "Oh, you're wrong."
But
there's a good amount of bash all around, really.
I mean, there was some positivity, but overall, it seemed to be this way. Anyway,
yeah. So this one is Final Fantasy X-2, March 16th, 2003, by a customer. Woo! FF10-2 has been bumped up from November 3rd to October 18th, and I get to write the first review on it. Well, needless to say, this is going to be one of the best FF games ever. Wow! For all of you diehard fans out there who have been living under a rock for the past 6 months, here's a short synopsis. The game takes place 2 years after, surprise, Sin is defeated in a time called the Eternal Nagi, or Eternal Calm. Yuna, Waka, and Lulu have gone back to Besaid Island. Yuna is very famous, naturally, and Waka and Lulu got married and are about to have a baby. Yay! One day, Riku stops by the island and gives Yuna a mysterious sphere that pictures someone who looks just like Tidus. Now, Yuna has made it her mission to find her lost love. Both she and Riku get some new clothes so that no one will recognize them because Yuna is so famous, and I guess Riku is too. After all, she was Yuna's guardian. A new mysterious girl named Pain, pronounced Pine.
Pronounced Pine? What the fuck? No, that's not true.
Also joins their quest, which turns out to be a lot bigger than they expected.
Pain, pronounced Pine, by the way.
Hey, Pine! As you can already see, this game is simply amazing. In addition to this great storyline.
Sorry, did I see that through the last paragraph?
The battle system
There's a girl named Pain, pronounced Pine. Can't you see that this game may be the greatest of all time?
Can't you see? The battle system has been totally redefined. You can choose from over 10 different job classes during battle. And there's a brand new Albed airship called Celsius that can take you anywhere in Spira right from the beginning of the game. make sure that you get this on October 18th, or at least reserve it right here, right now. End of review. Was this helpful? Yes, it was.
You gotta log in.
Ah,
to
fuck
Amazon
that.
For that. All right. Oh, fuck. Okay, there it is. Okay.
Oh, man, this is a different kind of review.
Now, this is a polar opposite review. This is a 1-star review on Amazon called Rivals the Bouncer by Metropolitan J on June 2nd,
Looks like he
2012.
edited this one.
Yes. I don't care. I'm changing my review. My last one was dishonest. I called it a decent game. This game sucks. Well and truly sucks. I noticed that this is released as PlayStation's greatest hits. It hits like a punch to the ball sack. The storyline is utterly stupid. It has forsaken any traditional FF storyline in favor for Charlie's Angel exploitation antics with 70% more fan service. The last game saw you battling a global threat. Now see Yuna going on stupid quests like go to Macarena Temple and find out who left the toilet seat up, and stupid dialogue such as we're going to defeat it with love. Yeah, good one. I'm sure Sun Tzu was kicking himself once he realized he forgot to write that one. And guess what? Final Fantasy is my favorite game series of all time. 10 was my favorite, and now I have to play this crap? He censored crap. Okay, well, that was lame. This shit. I even like 12 and 13, so what does that say about this? If your game comes without an instruction leaflet, then God help you. There's a new dress sphere system where different abilities are bestowed upon characters who wear different clothing, i.e. white mage sphere. It makes the sphere grid system from 10 look like an intricate work of genius. On top of it, the lip syncing is pretty damn terrible. It's like watching a Chinese film dubbed into English with the terrible delays in speech and mouth movement. This game has no excuse. I would like to say that is an amazing review.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. Thank you very much for those 2 reviews.
All right, Schweiss, you want to talk about the legacy of the game?
Please, God. Do we have to?
Yes.
All right, fine.
All of a sudden we got... Okay. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
I don't know what you're clicking on.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm just fucking around.
Schweiss, how do you think this game is looked upon by the gaming community or the Final Fantasy community?
Well, the gaming community probably doesn't
13
acknowledge
years
it.
later.
It's one of those games that didn't sell a whole lot of copies. I mean, the HD remaster probably did well for it, but that's because people wanted to play 10. They weren't like, oh, God, 10-2.
It did sell a lot of copies. It sold 3-point-something million copies after Final Fantasy X's 8. I mean, 3-point-something million for a game that took a year and a half less time.
Okay, it didn't sell so many that everywhere has it. It's not like a sports game.
And as I said in the making of, it was the biggest game in Japan that year, so I disagree with
that
you.
year was shit, because that's not very many sold. No, I don't think that many people have completed it. I think a lot of people are probably in the same camp that I was in before I decided that we should play this game, and only played a little bit of it. I was always intrigued to play more, but I never did because I thought it was awful. I thought the story was just atrocious when I first played it, and I was not wrong. But I don't think it really holds up that well. I think the idea that people have to grasp to, oh, it's okay as a game, just not as a sequel to 10, means it's not okay as a fucking game. Because if it was okay as a game, you'd be okay with it being a sequel to 10. And no one really is. So I don't think it really holds up. I think there is some new material in it. There are some things that they did differently that was groundbreaking, I would say. But I don't think it really lent itself to the series as a whole or gaming as a whole. I think it was just there.
I think its uniqueness is what it was praised for at the beginning, and now 13 years later, it really hasn't held up.
Yeah.
I think most of the fan base from when we were playing the games, a lot of people were saying, the battle system's good. I mean, the story's really not, but there are good things about it, and I don't know what those are, frankly, as I played the game.
There's ideas that they could have gone with, that they
No.
tried to, they toyed with, but then just said, nah, fuck it, we're not going to make it dark and political and,
It also has,
post-apocalyptic.
honestly, from an objective point of view, it has one of the stupidest titles of all time, Final Fantasy X-2. There's something really fucking dumb about that. And I know we're okay with it now because I guess we're just used to it. So it's like 10-2, 13-2, but no.
Yeah, you could have just given it a
do that.
sub-name instead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to just a gamer going in, never playing a Final Fantasy game, looking at the cover going, what? X-2?
Yeah, and then Roman numerals not being that.
Yeah, that's kind of
big.
like, of course, they're pretty big with dumb titles like Dissidia 012. Like,
What the fuck's with the 12? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Still don't know what Advent Children means. It's just a title.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, they think this is 12 because they see the 10 and the 2, and some people are bad with Roman numerals. I don't know. It's a rat fuck. It really is, and I don't know why. You could have just done like, Yuna takes off all her clothes, Final Fantasy X, and it would have worked just fine. You would have had a Final Fantasy X in the sub name, just whatever generic title. I don't know. It is weird that they would make it 10-2. It is a sequel, but there are plenty of sequels that they don't have to be blah 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 2. And even if they are, they're Final Fantasy X-2. Yuna takes off all her clothes.
Awesome. Period.
Yeah.
Now we all buy it. And it sells 3 million copies in Japan.
Yeah, exactly. 3 million instead of like 1, 2.
Yeah. There you go. Extra million copies just for saying Yuna takes off all her clothes.
They should hire me. They should.
They should. Yeah, you're the marketing guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I could do it.
No, the legacy of this game seems mixed now. It does seem like it was way overrated when it came out. And I can't be the only person who thinks that. That's why is this game in the 80s for Metacritic?
Yeah,
it should. I would put it like 50s. Like it's not a good game. I don't think. Even with the good parts of the battle system, I don't think it's like an improvement on FF10.
I'd probably give it. I'd probably put it more in the 70s, maybe like early.
Yeah. Okay.
Late 60s%, but I think that was back in the day when people were still like sucking the schlong of the Square Enix and the other big studios. I mean, when I'm seeing stuff in Game Informer where a Call of Duty game gets almost a 10, it's like, does it really deserve almost a 10? Most of it's online gameplay. I think a lot of it's skewed. So I feel like if this game were to come out now, that fucking thing would not have what it has on Metacritic. There's no way.
Well, the graphics would be terrible.
Well,
now.
Yeah, but even if they
like, what the fuck is this? This looks like a PS2 game. What is this? Aragorn's Quest?
Yeah, no shit. But I don't think it's held up well.
No.
And I don't know, the idea that everyone's like, well, but the gameplay is fun, is like a grasping at straws, like a final desperate cling to the side of the cliff before you fall off.
Well, but it's not like fun as in this is the best system ever.
No, yeah, it's not like 5 where it's so good that it makes up for much of the game's lack of story up until the end.
It's not as exciting as 5's battle system. I think the simplicity of 5 made it better. And also 5 is a more challenging game in the main story.
Yeah.
Now there may be super bosses, and they may take some serious strategy to take care of them in FF10 too. So I'm leaving that as a caveat and as something that you guys can go, well, you guys didn't do this. I mean, yeah, you're right, we didn't do that. Twice was supposed to, but he didn't.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to.
I did my regular Degol Your Core, as we've called it. My regular kind of play through the main story, and if things speak to me along the way, I will do them. And this game didn't speak to me. This game just didn't excite me in that sort of way. So overall, Schweiss, legacy of the game, I think, is mixed. And my personal impressions overall of the game, mostly negative. However, better game than Dirge of Cerberus.
Yeah, that's easy to say. That's
better story even than Dirge of Cerberus, I think. And at least I can follow it.
Yeah.
You know, Dirge of Cerberus is a clusterfuck.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I do want to play through it again, only to get the trophies, though. And I kind of want to do all the side quests and see what what kind of a story element it unlocks. If there's like another subplot that I can get to.
See if you suddenly change your mind.
I don't know if I'll change my mind, but I want to get as many of those trophies and experience as much of the game as I can. I just didn't want to do it in this small of a time frame. I couldn't handle all of that Final Fantasy X-2. It was too much.
All right, Schweiss. Now, we haven't experienced the novel. We haven't experienced the audio drama.
Or Last Mission for the most part.
Or Last Mission, and we will have a review for Last Mission, I believe, 2 weeks from when this review comes out. This part of the review comes out.
We should be jumping on 11 pretty soon, too, guys.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
And we're going to treat Last Mission as a separate game since you can get into the game separately in the menu. It's not like FF2's extra thing where you had to play all the way through FF2 to get it. Yeah. And someone gave us a comment like, why didn't you guys do it? You guys already beat the thing, but we didn't beat that version of the game. So no, we can't just go into the extra thing in FF2. So no, that doesn't actually work. You have to play the Dawn of Souls version for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that.
Anyway, we're past that. But Last Mission is not necessarily the same game as FF10-2. It's an extra game. It's not an extra level or anything. Nothing carries over from
It's
the
not a
previous
Last
thing.
Mission. It's a fucking lie. It's a misleading title.
It's another game.
Yeah, it's totally separate. Totally different battle.
So treating it as a sequel, so Last Mission will be ranked within this. But as far as the FF10 universe is concerned and what we've come across, just FF10 and FF10-2. Where do you rank FF10-2?
Put it 2 lines below FF10. I know we don't have anything in between, but I'm feeling that Last Mission is gonna be, maybe a little bit better.
I don't know. Right now, I mean, there's interesting aspects, but I'm not sure if 80 floors later I'll think it's an interesting game.
Yeah.
But we'll see. FF10-2 was way below FF10 in my mind, and I put FF10 really high on my list. So
yeah, likewise. It's third favorite of the series.
Not a big fan of FF10-2, and I'm sorry about you guys who absolutely love this game. Schweiss, any other final thoughts on this game before we go?
I would be sorry for those that absolutely love it, that their taste in video games is at such a poor level that this is like top notch. I truly do feel for you, and I feel for what few horrid games you've encountered in your life to where this is like on any sort of pedestal that's not in the ground under 6 feet of dirt. That's my final thought.
I'll just say ditto, and we'll end it right there. Thank you guys for listening to our review of Final Fantasy X-2. We really appreciate it. I'm sorry for you guys who love this game and had to slog through just us hating on the whole thing. Really. I wanted to like the game. I really did. I really wanted to like the game. I never want to waste 20 hours of my life on something I hate. I really don't. And so if anything, I'm like, okay, I'll live with the pop song at the beginning of the thing. But I got to tell you, man, it's just bad. It's just bad. There's few good aspects of it. I don't think I'll ever revisit this game again. I don't like it. So, we will see you guys next week. Make sure you go to facebook.com/Ultima Final Fantasy, like our page there. Go to youtube.com/Ultima Final Fantasy and see all of our videos that we have up. Thank you to our Patreon donors. If you give you $1 a month, you can get the episodes as soon as we're done mixing them. You can tweet me at Joseph DeGollier.
Me at UFF Podcast. You can like our Twitch feed. You can follow us there. Catch the episodes live. Catch me playing the games here and there.
And everything else can be found at ultimafinalfantasy.com, including our forums. Make sure you join those. Also, Nude Clan, the greatest video game podcast of all time, is out there, and we are a part of it. So if you like us, go listen to Nude Clan.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a very good show. I enjoy it quite a bit.
And Godzilla podcast as well, and Super Sexy Swingin' Fan Fiction are our other two live and boisterous and beautiful shows.
Yes, Super Sexy is a beauty, especially that new logo we got.
All right, we will see you guys next time.
Enjoy the grind.
This has been another production of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast. The show was produced by Joseph DeGolier and Caleb Schweiss, with music and editing by Joseph DeGolier, parodies and clips from their respective authors, of course. You can get all of our episodes as well as our Let's Plays at ultimafinalfantasy.com. You can also contact us on Twitter at UFF Podcast, as well as our contact page on our website. Be sure to subscribe and review our podcast. Your reviews may get read on the show, and look forward to the next episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast.
I slip. What did I slip? There's already a fucking 10.2.5.
Yeah.
Think about stupiding the number. Yeah, the numbering is retarded. Frankly. What else we got?
Oh, we got the new guy, Sauce Gunsmith. Anybody think Xbox Project Scorpio will be really good or total shit?
Caleb Craig says total shit.
I watched it as it was happening.
No one knows what you're talking about.
Seems out of reach for a console. Is this a replay? Oh no, it's not a replay, but we don't check the Twitch stuff till a little bit later, dude. Because we're just doing.
It's a podcast. The podcast must be pure.
Yeah, and the Twitch is just kind of a secondary thing, so you guys can hang out with us. 100 floors of tedious bullshit. Yes, yes.
Just
Abused, trigger happy. Marry, fuck, kill, ever.
I think this game showed how different the company became without Sakaguchi overseeing it. I blame Wada for the next 10 years of crap. Sakaguchi was still in the company. I mean, this was 2003, so he was kind of on his way out. And he stepped down as the CEO. So you might have a point there. I mean, this was post-merger when this game came out. Yeah.
Yeah, it was after the merger.
Yeah.
Some of the copies of 10 were released with Square Enix.
I stuffed a taco in my burrito, but I'm not a... What the fuck does that say? Not a critic to FF games, but I like to try new things. Hurrah. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might enjoy
It's a
this.
South Park thing. Okay. All right.
Needs adventures in children. Eternal Calm
The
is a way
natural
better
wave of Joe's hair because of the fan blowing. That's a good...
Oh, selfie clones. God.
Dissidia means disagreement in Latin. 012 in the wharfs is the wharf cycle they are in.
War/cycle.
Oh, war/cycle. God, that print is so fucking small.
The Sephiroth clones. Okay, that makes sense.
Advent, yeah.
All right, well, shit, guys. I think that's going to do it for us. We're going to be recording some of that sweet, sweet Nude Clan here.
We are.
But we will catch you guys on the next stream.